Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here. Now, have you ever been performing magic and you feel something sliding its slimy little hand into your pocket and you're like, oh my goodness, what the heck is that? And it's a little kid reaching into your pockets, or worse, it's a drunk adult reaching into your pockets. What do you do in this situation? How do you deal with people being rude, reaching into your pockets, stealing things out from your hand, all of that stuff? Well, we're going to discuss what to do in those situations in this video. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Advice for Magicians, where my job is to make you the best possible entertainers that you can be. Now, this is sort of going to be a how to deal with hecklers video, but I've already done a couple of those. In fact, I'll leave the links in the description below to those videos. So after you guys are done watching this one, if you want to go back and watch that one, those ones, those two or three, there's a few different ones here on the channel. You guys are welcome to go and do that. So I'm not going to discuss how to deal with hecklers completely in this video, but I am going to discuss how to deal with a very specific situation. And 9 times out of 10, this is going to be with kids. Kids have not quite learned social boundaries, so these are usually the biggest offenders. And every once in a while, you'll get some adults that do this 9 times out of 10, some inebriated adults, some that have had a little too much, get a little lost in the sauce, so to speak, and their social barriers tend to go down as well. And they might be kind of rude, whether it be sticking their hands in your pockets or ripping things out of your hand and stuff like that. So in today's video, we're going to discuss how to deal with that. If you haven't already done so, of course, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. And if you want to support the channel more, you're welcome to click the join button as well. Stay tuned to the very end of this video because I will be discussing all of the fun different perks associated with people that become members. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so let me set the stage for you now. Imagine you're performing some magic and a little kid thinks maybe you snuck the secret bit inside of your pocket, right? Like, oh, I know how you did that. The flubajube from the phalange is in your pocket. And so what does he do? He reaches his hand into your pocket, right? And so your first instinct might be to slap that little kid's hand right out of your pocket. Of course, you don't want to do that because you don't want to get in trouble. And also, we have to remember, though it might be frustrating, annoying even, and a little rude if we're being honest, kids are kids, and we do have to remember this. When a kid does something, 9 times out of 10, it's not malicious. Usually, they're curious, and their curiosity might get the better of them. They might try to grab something out of your hand. They might try to reach into your pocket, right? So how do we deal with this now? It's very, very simple. You just have to put on what I call the teacher pants, right? It's like putting on the big boy pants, but the teacher version of that. And basically what I mean is you have to use your, como se dice, how do you say, what's that called? Your voice, I just call it teacher voice. You have to use your authoritative voice. There you go, that's the word that I was looking for. You have to speak with authority, but without yelling, right? So, for example, I'm doing my trick. Kid reaches his hand into my pocket, right? I'm gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna look at the kid and go, whoa, buddy, what are you doing there? And he's gonna say, oh, I was reaching into your pocket because I'm looking for the thing. Now, you know that we don't do that, right? We don't reach into people's pockets without asking first. Yes? You understand? You see how I'm not yelling at him. I'm not telling him that he's in trouble or anything like that. I'm simply speaking with my authoritative voice, right? So you're not going to yell at them. You're not going to make them feel bad. You're just going to be like, hey, remember, we don't do that, right? You understand? Let them say yes. All right, thank you. And then you can continue on. Right? Same situation. If you're doing something, you're performing something, and they go to grab or snatch whatever it is that you're holding out of your hand, you just pull it back. And you say, no. We don't grab things out of people's hand without asking for permission first, right? Yes? And they say yes. Would you like to see the cards? Okay, thank you so much for asking. And you give them the cards. This is something that teachers understand how to deal with, parents will understand how to deal with, But unless you're a parent or are used to working with kids, oftentimes this can be very off-putting, catch you off guard, and you might not know how to deal with it. I had someone not too long ago ask me, what do you do when the kids start reaching into your pockets and reaching into your close-up case and grabbing things out of your hand? And if it happens once, usually it's innocent. What if it happens over and over again, or all of the kids just start tearing through your stuff, right? The best way to deal with this issue is to prevent this issue. And the way that I do this is by establishing the rules up front. And again, you need to speak from authority. If you're very sheepish, very quiet, very timid, you kind of let the kids do what they want at the start, this isn't going to be a good thing. This isn't going to work for you. So what I do is right at the start. So let's just say I'm doing a formal show for a bunch of people. It's a family show. There's parents, there's kids. I'm going to start by saying, all right, everyone, is this anyone's first magic show? Very cool. What that allows me to do now is take a mental note of just how many kids this is their first magic show. Because if this is their first magic show, I might need to set a little bit more of a boundary because they might not know what to expect. Maybe in their head they think, ooh, this is a magic show. That means I gotta try to see if I can grab the stuff out of the magician's pockets before he can like do the trick, right? Maybe that's what they think the magic show is supposed to be. So what I might do, if there's more kids that have not seen the magic show, I might elaborate a little bit more on the rules. If just about everyone's hand goes up and they're like, oh no, this is not my first magic show, I've seen it, right? So if I said, all right, is this anyone's first magic show? And no one's hand goes up. Or I say, has anyone ever seen a magician before? And everyone's hand goes up. Now I might understand, like, okay, so they kind of already know what's going on. I might not have to elaborate too much, but I'm still gonna set some boundaries, right? I'll be like, all right, perfect. I just have a couple of rules, right? Rule number one is that we're very respectful of whoever's up here performing, whether it be myself or if I invite one of your friends up, right? We don't shout out of turn. We don't throw things. We don't yell, right? We're gonna be respectful of whoever is up here at the front. You guys understand? Perfect. And then they'll say yes. Rule number two, if you want to come up and you want to be part of what's going on up here, you need to raise your hand, right? You don't want to give them the idea that, oh, if they want to come up and help, they just stand up and run up here. There is some times where that invisible line, because of course you want you want space to be able to walk, that invisible line starts to creep up closer and closer and closer to you. So the next thing you know, all the kids are here. It's okay to take a pause and be like, all right, guys, I need everyone to take 3 or 4 giant steps backwards. Make sure I have a little bit of space here and just back them up. If possible, you can lay down tape or put a rope on the floor or look on the floor. Is there a crack? Maybe it's like on a sidewalk or something. Is there like a crack on the floor that you could point to? Some kind of barrier that they understand you need to be behind this. That way they're not invading in your space, right? The closer to you they are, the closer to your setup they are. If they're behind your setup, right? So like if I have my case and it's open and there's kids kind of standing behind it, the temptation for them to reach in and start looking at stuff is going to increase. So keeping them at a distance that you can easily control is going to help you to prevent this, right? All of this stuff. And of course, rule number 3, make sure that we're having a good time, right? You don't want to take it too seriously because if they feel like, oh, this is all just rules, they're not going to enjoy the show. So make sure you remember that. So my 3 rules are be respectful, right, of whoever's up here, whether it be me or one of you guys. Rule number 2, if you want to participate, make sure you raise your hand. Otherwise, please stay seated. Or if they're standing, please stay behind the designated barrier. And then rule number 3, make sure you guys have a good time. Those are my 3 rules. And as long as you're having fun with the kids, you're teasing with them, and you're just putting on a really good show, the chances of them coming up, reaching into your case, reaching into your pocket, it's just not really something that you should have to worry about, right? Again, you use your authoritative voice at the start, have them understand that you mean what you say, and then you can continue on. Now, if it becomes a problem and the kids are just not listening, that's when you start saying, all right, Timmy, I've asked you a couple times now to please stop, and now I have to have you go sit with your mom. So please go sit with your mom. and you can watch from where your mom is sitting, right? Like sometimes you just have to do that. Personally, I've only ever had to do that like once or twice, and it's for like super hyper kids. And again, they're just so excited, but it's not really been too much of a problem. Now, that leads me to the last point, which is dealing with adults that do this. Now, dealing with kids is one thing, but dealing with adults, I have zero patience for this. If someone starts reaching their hand into my pocket, or if someone digs through my magic case while I'm performing, and I look over and I'm expecting it to be a kid and it's an adult, typically it's an adult that's had too much to drink, right? I will very firmly say, no, we're not doing this. You need to go back to where you were, please. Do not reach your hand into my stuff. Do not reach your hand into my pocket. I need you to go sit over there, right? The moment that you let them get away with, like some magicians won't address it right away. They're like, no, don't do that. All that does is encourage them to continue to do it, because if they're not getting the hint, again, especially if they've been drinking and you've not straight up told them, you need to stop, please don't do that, is the time where they think, oh, okay, well, the magician doesn't mind, or maybe this is part of it, or maybe they think that they're making the show better. It's like a heckler at a comedy club. When they keep shouting things, they think that they're being helpful, they think that they're adding to the entertainment value of the show, or whatever, right? You need to shut it down right away. So for me, if an adult reaches into my pocket, or reaches into my stuff, or snatches something from my hand, I'll be like, no, we're not doing this. Go have a seat. And I'm very stern with them. I don't yell at them. I don't cuss at them. I don't make a big deal of it. Like, no, we're not doing that. Go have a seat. One time I was performing, and for those of you who know any of my performance pieces, I perform Matthew Garrett's Ninja Plus, which involves me taking my wedding ring off, linking it onto a ring, and then handing that out for them to examine. Well, there was a time when I handed that out for examination, and then when it came time to continue on with the effect, they didn't want to give it back. She was like, I don't know what happened to it. And I'm just like, all right, I need it back because I need to continue on with the effect. And she was like, well, if you're really a magician, you could make it appear. And I said, well, I'm not really a magician. I'm doing sleight of hand and pretending to be a magician. Magic isn't real. I can't just manifest the thing that you're hiding from me in your purse, so can you please give it back? Right? And sometimes you just have to like break the illusion for them. It's like, if you really expect that I can just manifest that my stuff is gonna appear back here even though you took it and stuck it into your purse, I'm not able to do that. Never reach your hand into their purse or into their personal space to retrieve your props from them if they took them from you, because again, that could be bad. They can try to say that you tried to steal something out of their purse, or that you assaulted them or something like that. So again, you have to be careful, but I'm just very stern, like, I need it back. We're not going to continue with the show until I get it back, right? If this is at a venue that hired you, you could say, all right, I'm going to need that back, or we're going to have you escorted off of the property. If this is a private event where, let's just say it's like a backyard barbecue or something, and the client booked you to perform for them and one of their guests is doing that, all right, we're going to go ahead and have a chat with, let's just say it was Susan that hired you. Let's go have a chat with Susan about why you're taking my props and not getting them back, and we'll find out what happens, right? And 9 times out of 10, that's enough for them to be like, okay, here's your stuff back, right? Again, it's only happened a couple of times, and both times it's happened, alcohol was involved. So my advice for you is to just be stern, don't be rude, be authoritative, and never reach into their personal space to take your stuff back. If they've taken your stuff, just stay with them until you get it back, but don't stick your hand in their pocket or reach into their purse or whatever, because that is something that could get you in trouble too. But anyways, there are some ideas for you for dealing with those pesky pocket reachers and hand snatchers. All right, my friends, thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, you want to see more just like it, again, I encourage you to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell. And if you'd like to become a member here on the channel, you can click the join button. Members get access to a whole bunch of really cool stuff. You get early access to videos. You get access to tutorials. If you become a mob lieutenant or higher, you get access to the Inner Circles playlist, where you'll get some really cool perks like the live lectures and other live events and things like this. And if you become a mob boss or a mob underboss, you'll get direct one-on-one access to me, where we can hop on a phone call or a video chat and we can learn some really cool magic. You could pick my brain. I could teach you some stuff, help you work on stuff that you're already learning, or we can even take your magic to the next level, have you going out into the world performing, whether it be for fun or professionally to earn a living. So all of that stuff, please check the membership tab for more information on the different perks and different tier levels associated. And at this time, I'd like to thank my members, my newest members, because it is up to you guys whether or not I keep this channel going. So thank you so much to Andreas Bullock, Noah Puritan, Stephen H, Thomas Maloney, Andrew C, and Frank Koina. Thank you guys so much again for becoming members. It truly is because of you that I'm able to keep this channel going. So if you guys would like to join them amongst the ranks of the mob, again, go ahead and click the join button or click the membership tab for more information. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.